Today's review, we're going back to the supermarkets with this new beer from Siren. This is available in Morrison's. This is called Expressions CITRA. It's a double dry hopped IPA. But what's it going to be like? Keep watching to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to Morrison Supermarket. I picked this one up. I hadn't seen it before. It's called Expressions CITRA. It's a double dry hopped IPA with Citra hop only. It says here, our Expressions beers, I've never had any of the other Expressions, are soft IPAs made to tell the story of an individual hop. Citra is the superstar of the hop world, widely adored for its citrusy, grapefruit aromas and bold tropical fruit flavours. 5.2%, a bit low for an IPA. And Siren, they've been around a long time. In fact, when I just had a quick check before I did this video to make sure I hadn't reviewed it and missed it. And I've reviewed quite a lot of Siren beers over the years. And I always remember Siren, one of the first beers, and it was one of the first beers on the channel, Luminoso, and it was a session IPA. Lupo something or other, I can't remember the name of it. It had black cow and blue stuff on it. It was quite a sort of core beer for Siren. I remember it being okay, but that was 4 years ago when I was probably a bit young and naive, wet behind the ears, as it were, when it came to craft beer. They've been a mainstay in supermarkets. I don't think I've ever had anything that's blown me away from them. So let's crack this one open, put it in the glass. It's a supermarket beer. It's low ABV for an IPA, but I do like Citra hop. And Siren, you know, they know how to make beer. And I think it's just the fact that they do make a lower quality sort of beer. So we'll see how this one sort of stacks up, really. Well, beer in a glass. I mean, it's very, very light straw. There's a haze, but it's a very slight haze. This isn't like your typical IPAs that we get on the channel. It's very pale ale-esque. You can see loads of carbonation there. So I don't know if that's going to create the softness. We've got two fingers, very white but loose bubbled head. Yeah, and to be honest, the aroma I can already smell is pretty inviting. So let's sort of unpack it. Yeah, very sort of distinctive, the Citra hop, especially when you're having a beer with just Citra in it. You can smell it and to some extent taste it a mile away. Lots of light, lemony, citrus aromas, grapefruit. And that's what it's all about. The aroma is very citrus and usually the flavour is too, but there's a little bit more tropical punch in there. So let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. Very light, a little bit. I mean, I wouldn't call it very soft. It's quite carbonated, actually. There's a big hit of lemons, and then there's a real sort of sharpness of citrus, which I'd probably still say is quite on the lemon side, but you're getting a little bit more complexity. So you get soft sort of fruit, slightly sweetly lemon, and then you're getting sort of more of the rind of a lemon, you know, more of that sort of sharpness, the citrus sort of bitterness bite. It's not really bitter, but you know what I mean. It's a sharp flavour. It gives it a little bit more of a backbone, but it is, for me, too thin and light in its body. It drinks more like a pale ale, but it's one of those beers that isn't really the sort of beer you want to drink at this time of year when it's bloody freezing. It's a very good summery sort of barbecue beer. But it's a little one note in terms of the flavour. It's lemony. I feel like I've tasted a lot of pretty, supermarket, especially pale ales that are like this. How they can sort of really call this an IPA, it just doesn't have the body. I mean, even session IPAs have got a bit more body than this. This is very, very light, a little bit fizzy. But if you like lemon taste and you're in the mood for something and you like Citra hop, this is it certainly tastes like it's got Citra in it. There's nothing else strange or weird in terms of artificial in the flavour. It's just too light, too fizzy, just not hoppy enough for me. But I think I've drank enough. Let's get some scores. Okay, the scores are in for Expressions CITRA Double Dry Hop IPA. Yeah, there's not much double dry hopped about it. There isn't that level of dryness in there. It's 5.2% Citra hop. It just says Citra, so I don't know if there's like, if it's using various forms of Citra. It doesn't actually say that. I think that's what I think I had. No, that was actually forget that. I was thinking I had that one that was 5 different types of Citra quite a while ago. I was thinking that was quite a cheap sort of brand, but it wasn't Siren. I think it was Vocation. But anyway, it's a average supermarket beer. It's okay, but there are better, but there's certainly definitely worse as well. So let's go for the scores. Start with aroma, appearance, flavour, value for money. I can't remember how much it was. It is part of the 4 for free. It might have even been $3.25, the cheaper of the ones that I bought. In fact, I'm sure it probably was actually. So not too bad, but it's a 5.3% IPA. Yeah, that's what I think for value. And then finally, my overall experience. We top the scores up. We just about get recommended. It's total score 70 out of 100. It's okay. It's a supermarket beer. It's not something that I would be rushing out to drink again. I still think, it's just not enough. For me, it's not an IPA. It's very much a pale. But there's some nice flavours. Citra's well sort of demonstrated here. So it'll give you an idea what Citra hop's really all about. Lemons, grapefruits. Sometimes you get citrus got a bit more tropicalness, but I wouldn't say there's much. It's very much the citrus here with this beer. But I think it's just because it's too light and too thin that you're not getting the full flavour. You're getting more lemons, maybe a bit of lime, grapefruit, really. But it's okay, 70 out of 100. Yeah, when I bought this, I also bought one of the Northern Monk Faith in the Futures beer because I thought it was different, but it wasn't different. I think I'd only had it once before and I'd forgotten. I had reviewed it and I don't remember what I reviewed it at, but I drank that and before off the camera because I knew I'd reviewed it and I thought this isn't bad really. And this beer and even that one, the Tram one that I reviewed recently, the double IPA, which I hadn't had before from Salt, thought had able to be a better beer. But even drinking that, I still thought the Northern Monk one was a better beer overall. So you can get better beers that are just slightly better. They might only be, 10-20% better than these beers. Still a long way from the sort of stuff that you're paying for £5.50 to £6 for an IPA. I'm at this point now where I just think I'd rather spend the money. I'd rather have less beer and spend, and spend £5 on an IPA because I know from a brewery that I know is going to make it good. But I'm interested to hear what you think because I'm at the point is where I could quite easily not drink another craft beer from a supermarket. I'm at that level now, and I don't want to sound snobbish about it, but it's not worth paying for free. I would say on average a supermarket beer is about £3.75, and I just don't think it's worth paying that. If they were £2, maybe, but if they're for £3.75, you're creeping up to where you can buy a decent Asvex beer. Or other breweries, in fact. Polly's, for example, you can buy them under £5 for an IPA. So you're paying £1, just over £1 more. You get a lot better beer, and I think I'd rather pay that. What's £1 these days? What can you buy with £1 these days? Very little. So, yeah, I'm going on a little bit at the end of this video, but it's a recommended beer. So let me know if you've had any beers from Siren. I think most people that drink craft beer probably had a beer from Siren at some point in the day, but are they just a supermarket brewery? Have you had anything recently from them not in a supermarket that maybe is a big step up? I think that's the thing. There's certain breweries, I think Siren, I think about breweries like Salt or another one, they have made very good beers, but the most of their output is supermarket led. I think Northern Monk are probably close to that, but they're not quite there. Their Patrons Project stuff, I'm a big fan of them. And I still think that they release lots of other stuff outside the supermarkets, which is a lot better. And up to the point where it's some of the best beers that you can have. But yeah, that's the thing. I think these supermarket breweries now are starting to become, that's what they do, and they either concentrate on one or the other. So I don't know. Maybe that. I mean, that's probably a good thing, because I think with good breweries that are going in supermarket making beers that aren't quite as good, I think it affects their overall brand, really, in terms of what you expect of them. And if you have a poor beer, or beer that's just average from them in the supermarkets, it's going to make you think that that's going to be all their beers. So I think breweries are better either staying out of the supermarkets or concentrating on them. But let me know what you think about that. Supermarket beer, do you still spend £6-7 on a beer? But also buy stuff in the supermarket? Let me know in the comments. And until the next one, well, you know what you're going to do. Drink a craft beer and like and subscribe and keep on rocking.